right, so we are going to look at central tendencies, and it should be a very short, kind of easy assignment. So central tendency is a value that describes the middle, because it's in the center. Okay. So the mean, I just want you guys to have this notation. It's the, I can never say it. The mu, it's like a Greek letter, kind of looks like an backwards P that's missing the top. And that stands for the average. Okay. And then, so you're going to add all the numbers up. You're going to take the sum of the numbers and you're going to divide by the total numbers that you have. So you've been doing mean for a long time. Then you have the median, which means you're going to put them in order. That's the big thing. They got to be in order, and you're going to count to the middle. So it's the middle value. Okay. And then finally, you're going to have the mode, and the mode is the most repeated value. Okay, so if I look at this first example right here, it wants me to find the mean, the median, and the mode. So to find the mean, I'm going to add all these numbers up. So to find the mean, I'm going to use green. To find the mean, I'm going to add them all up, and that's 471 divided by 9, because there's 9 terms. So that's 52.3 repeating. Okay, to find the mode, I'm going to look at the one that is repeated the most. So if I look at the one that is repeated the most, I've got a 51 and a 51. So that's repeated twice. And in this case, I think I have another one. 58 is repeated twice, isn't it? Hopefully I'm not missing one, but I think that is it. Okay, now the next one is the one that gives kids the most trouble. It is what is called the median, but you can only do the median if you put it in order. So I'm going to quickly kind of put this in order here. So I have 35, 46, 51, 51. And if you put it in order first, it kind of helps you find the mode. I was trying to eyeball that thing, and it would have probably been easier if I would have put it like this, because then I would have easily seen the 51 and the 58 and known that I didn't mess up. Okay, I'm just going to use like a yellow highlighter. So there's 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. So my median is 53. Okay, so what I would like you to do right now is I would like you to pause, and I would like you to do the mean, median, and mode on this one. And I'm going to write down the answers, and then you can check them. So pause, please, and try this. Okay, the mean was 19. The median is 20, and I have a feeling we're going to need to talk about that. And then the mode, in this case, there was just 1. It was 24. So if I put these in order, I would go 7, 10, 11, 15, 15, 19, 21, 24, 24, 24, that's why it's 24, 27, and 31. So I'm going to use my little highlighter again. And so I have, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. And now here's the problem. There's 2 right in the middle, correct? So you have 2 right in the middle. And so what you do is you add those 2 things together and you say, okay, 19 plus 21 divided by 2, the middle of that is 20. Okay, so that's what that is what you have going on there. Okay, for some reason my standard deviation came off of these notes. Crap. Okay, I'm just gonna roll with it. Okay, so we're gonna find just right in this line right here, standard deviation, or sorry, mean absolute deviation is what we're going to call it. It's the MAD. Okay, it's a type, this is how we're going to do it. It is a type of standard deviation. So what standard deviation is how far you are from the middle. And I'm going to look at this a little bit more when I am back on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we'll kind of do a couple of these for warm-ups. These are things you've done in the past. Okay, so the first thing you do, if you have, let's just talk about what a standard deviation means. If it's a low number, that means that your data set is close together. So when I give a test, I would like this to be a low number because the data set is close together. Okay, and if it's a higher standard deviation, that means that they're more spread. The data is more spread. Okay, to find the standard deviation, I would only do this if I gave you like this example here where you have to do it with like 4 points. Like I'm not going to give you something that has like tons and tons of data. I would show you guys how to use the calculator, which is what AP Stats is for, is using the calculator. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do mean absolute your standard deviation, and I am not even like too worried about like variance and all that other stuff. We're just basically going to do the standard deviation. So to do this part, the first thing you find is the mean. Okay, so if you find the mean of this thing, you're going to add them together and divide by how many there are. So that's 92. Okay, so now what you're going to do is, and I'm just going to use kind of a highlighter so you can see this, you're going to take and you're going to take every single one and you're going to see how far it is from 92. So if I do this, 85 minus 92, that's a -7, and I'm going to square it because I need to make it positive. Okay, and then I'm going to go, if I look at the next one, I'm going to do these two. So I'm doing 92 and 88, and that's I'm going to add that with a -4 squared. Okay, and we're going to talk about more what these numbers mean next week. I just want you to practice this. So 91 out of 92, that's plus a -1 squared. Okay, and then I'm going to look at the next one. So I'm going to do 96 minus 92, so it's above it. So that's going to be 4 squared. And then I'm going to do the last one where I'm doing, I already did that color, funsies. Let's do yellow. I'm doing 92 and 100, and so that's going to be 8 squared. Okay, and again, I'm not going to expect you guys to do this on the test. I'm going to teach you how to do this on your calculator. Okay, and so don't panic too much right now if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to mess this up. I just can't really teach you the calculator steps while I'm gone. So I'm just going to give you a couple of these that have like 5 or 6 numbers. So what I'm doing right now, so there's 5 terms. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to divide by 5. Okay, and you can't see me do this, but I have my calculator open. And I'm literally just typing in 7 squared. So that's a -7 squared. That's 49. So it's off by 7, but it's below it. And then 4 squared. So I'm off by is 16 plus -1 squared is 1 plus 16 plus 64. So I'm going to add all that up and I'm going to divide by 5. Oh, sorry. My calculator's being weird. And I get 29.2. Okay, so that is, sorry, I'm trying to get my thing all set. Okay, so that right there is my standard deviation. Okay, and so what you're doing is this is the squares, is the 29.2, but I've squared all of these. Okay, and so I'm not really off by 29.2 because if you look at it, I'm going from 100 to 85. So there's not even 29.2 in between there, right? So what this is, you see how it says squared right here? That's what it is, squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to square root this answer because I need to undo all my squares. But I had to square it to make it positive. And my standard deviation, is 5.4. And so that means that most of my data is within 5.4 of my mean. which is 92. So if this was a test, that means that most of my data, most of my kids scored between a 97 and an 88, which is pretty good. That's a pretty good test score. So standard deviation is kind of important. So if you have these kinds of grades and then you have a kid that got a 13%, then that's going to mess with your average, and it's going to kind of show you that most of your data is in there. It's going to affect it a little bit. Okay, so if we look at the next one, okay, this, and I can't remember if this is on your thing or not, but we're just going to do this other one. If it's not on your thing, just look at it with me quick. Here's the data, write it down. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the mean. That's the first thing you do. Okay, and so I'm going to add all those up. So I'm going to take 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 8 plus 11, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to find the mean, and I don't have the mean right now. Oops, cancel. Okay, so my mean would be 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 8 plus 11 plus 12 plus 12 plus 15 plus 19. I'm adding that up. I got 91, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm dividing by 9. And so my mean is 10.1. And it's like 10.11. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 minus 10.1. And I get a negative 7.1. Plus, I'm going to do 4 minus 10.1. And I get, you're squaring it because it's below and above. You're just looking at the average off. And then I'm going to do plus. I'm going to do 7 minus 10.1. And I get a negative 3.1 squared. And I'm going to do 8 minus 10.1. I get a negative 2.1 squared. And then I'm going to do 11 minus 10.1. I get 0.9 squared. And then 12, so that would be 1.9 squared plus 1.9 squared plus, I can't do this one, 15 minus 10.1 ends up being 4.9 squared. And then 19 minus 10.1. So you're just seeing how far each point is from the mean, but some of them are below and some of them are above, so you're going to square them so they're all positive. So I'm literally going to do negative 7.1 squared. Make sure you put it in parentheses. Plus, or you could just take the negative off because you're squaring it, so it's going to be positive anyway. That's what I'm doing, because otherwise I forget my stupid parentheses. Plus 2.1 squared plus 0.9 squared plus, I forgot my 1 squared on there, but I typed it in my calculator. Plus 1.9 squared twice plus 4.9 squared plus, oops, what happened there? Squared plus 8.9 squared. Okay, and then you're going to take that number. I got 212.89. So if that's wrong, check with each other. I probably messed a square up somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to divide by 9. And I just said a minute ago, so my variance, this is the ones that are squared, is 23.65. So I'm going to square root that. So square root of 23.65 ends up being 4.86. So that means my standard deviation is 4.86. So I think you have something to do that's like 5 questions. It shouldn't be very long. I would just like you to try it, and we can go over any questions when I get back.